Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and the Flash's digital network. If you've been wondering where is the stream for the last 15 minutes, we are dealing with a little lightning delay here in Windermere, Florida. But both teams are out on the field getting warmed up. The fans have just been let into the stadium. We are hoping for a 7:30 kickoff. So I appreciate your patience, and we hope to be able to bring you some flashes, some live flashes action in just a little bit. My co-host Deacon Ott is actually stuck in a little bit of rain-focused traffic right now. Been a little bit of a challenge getting here tonight, but he's working through it, and hopefully he'll be joining me early on in the first quarter. But for right now, we're all set up in the press box here at Windermere High School, and we'll be connecting with you in just about 15 minutes. So for right now, you can keep an eye on warm-ups, enjoy it, and so long as the weather stays as it is right now, we'll have a football game for you in the not-too-distant future. Welcome to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9. My name is Todd. My co host is Brian. We are broadcasting live from Windermere High School in Windermere, Florida, just south of Orlando. Any of you who have ever driven to Orlando know that getting just south and west of Orlando, when you're coming from St. Augustine, is a little bit of a challenge. Add a torrential downpour, lots of I-4 traffic, and lots of other people that are all trying to come to the same place. And it's been a little bit of an adventure for all of us. We have been in a 30-minute rain delay, but both teams are currently at midfield for the coin toss. Brian, you're trying to take a deep breath here, right? You popped in just a minute ago. We've had a little bit of time to get set up and get settled. How are you feeling about the game tonight? And are you ready for the game?
I am so not ready for the game tonight. I'm ready to watch a game. As I mentioned coming in, I researched the wrong team, so I can tell you a thing or two about Windermere Prep, but I'm going in blind to Windermere High School, and am interested to learning a thing or two about our opponent.
Well, let me tell you something about Windermere High School. They won 41 to nothing last week over a school called Colonial, not a school I'm familiar with. But I was told during the pregame that while they defeated Colonial, they've only won 3 games last year, and Colonial hadn't won a game, I think, in 2 years. So there's hope still that that result isn't just a marker of things to come. But we know that after the Flashes struggled a little bit last week, they had a huge kickoff classic win, but struggled in the opener. They're looking for a bounce back game tonight, and they've got a challenge ahead of them. The most notable threat for me, looking at the roster and the lineup, is the quarterback Bryce Speed from Windermere High. With a name like Speed and with athlete written next to his name on the roster, he's probably going to be pretty good. He was relatively efficient as a passer last week, 8 of 13 for 84 yards, threw a touchdown. They ran for a bunch of touchdowns. They got a defensive touchdown. But there's nothing that blows you away on the stat sheet. I'm not sure where all 41 points came from, but we're going to find out what kind of team they are tonight. They kind of look like the Seahawks' home uniforms. Navy blue, they've got some neon green striping and numbers and whatnot. The Flashes are wearing kind of the first communion outfit. They've got the black pants and the white shirt. They are still going with the black and green helmets. They look sharp. They look fired up. We're playing on a turf field tonight, which is actually a good thing given how much rain we've experienced over the course of the last couple of hours. It's going to be a lot of fun. The Flashes won the toss and are going to receive the opening kickoff. Ray Evans is back deep. Your good friends Jeremiah Kess and also Brody Ely are standing at the 20-yard line ready for any sort of short kick. The kicker has done a couple of hops. His name is Lucas Glassburn. He's done that real impressive jump up in the air, drive his knees up there. He's fired up and ready. There are 12 minutes on the clock to start this first quarter, and we are about to kick off Friday Night Lights. Here we go. It is a good, strong kick that'll be caught at the goal line. Evans fumbles it, picks it back up, meets a guy at the 10, gets by him though. Now he's out across the 15. A shoestring tackle saves what could have been a huge return.
Todd, I continue to be confused by the kick return formation. As we have the last couple weeks, we have 8 players within 15 yards of the ball and within 5 yards of each other, which is great if you're expecting an onside kick, but it gives you really no second layer for a short kick, and it gives you almost no blocking. So when we get big returns, it's usually because Ray is able to make something happen by making guys miss, as he did there.
You know, and he almost broke through that first wave of gunners. And had he gotten by that one tackle there, we mentioned the shoestring, he really did have some room to go. The Flashes are going to line up in a relatively traditional set for them. 2 wide receivers out to the left, 1 to the right. Evans takes the handoff. He's going to be popped. He gets beyond the 25. He's going to pick up around 3 yards on the play. They actually spotted that one all the way out to the 22. We're still trying to get a feel for the numbers here on this turf field. It's going to
And
be 2nd down and 6 for the Flashes, a run play on 1st down.
and that 4-yard gain on 1st down was 9 yards more than the Flashes picked up on the first play last week when we tried to establish a run against a very difficult Oak Hall defense.
Similar formation, but the wide receivers out to the left are a little tighter to the line. Jeremiah Kess with some orbit motion. The handoff goes to Evans, but there was penetration in the backfield. Nothing doing there.
And that was, it looked like an identical play. Certainly the motion was the same. Evans coming in front of the quarterback, and this time the defense had something dialed up for it.
So now the Flashes are going to face a 3rd down and 9 here inside their own 23-yard line. Dylan Ott is the man at quarterback tonight. He's got Ray Evans standing next to him. He's got 3 wide receivers and a tight end in the formation. Kess goes in motion from the right to the left side. The Flashes are moving from left to right. Ott rolls out to the left. He's going to try to run it. He'll pick up 2, maybe 3 yards, and then he's going to be hit hard at the 26-yard line.
Didn't look like he had a lot of options downfield on that. And made the decision pretty early. Would have had to work pretty hard to get that 1st down.
So with that brings up a 4th down and 5. No real decision here for the Flashes. They're deep in their own territory. They're going to have to punt this one away. Adrian Hemelt is going to stand at his own 15-yard line, ready to punt. The returners not giving him a lot of credit for his power. They're both standing at the 50-yard line. Flashes run one additional player out onto the offensive line. They are down an offensive lineman tonight. Here is the snap. Hemelt with a good catch. It is a high end-over-end kick, but it is short. It takes a modest Flashes hop. It'll get across the 50-yard line and then is touched by one of the Wolverines. By the way, Windermere are the Wolverines, even though they look kind of like the Seahawks. I really like their jerseys, actually. But the Wolverines are going to start their first offensive drive from their own 48-yard line. That is a dangerous way to pick up a punt. We've talked about it many times before. You got to get away from that one.
Every game we've seen it. In 3 games, including the preseason game, we've seen one of those poison calls, and somebody has touched it. By the way, if you were wondering, Todd, Windermere Prep are the Lakers.
Oh, well, that's very, very interesting. The Wolverines and not the Lakers are lined up on the right hash mark. They're moving from right to left on your radio dial. Shotgun formation with Bryce Speed at quarterback. Empty backfield. 3 wide receivers tightly bunched way out to the left, beyond the numbers. They roll left. They throw the screen out to the left. That's caught by number 12, Sean Falpour, and he's going to get a nice gain on 1st down. Maybe enough for a 1st down.
It might be coming back. I see a flag right around the line of scrimmage, likely a hold. And it is a hold, so that's going to come back. That's not as easy as a throw as it looks like. The throw is basically at the line of scrimmage, but when you're going from the far side of the field, he probably had 15 yards of distance, and he got it there in a hurry before the defense could react to it.
So with the penalty, they'll get backed up to their own 39-yard line. It'll be a repeat of 1st down and 20. Speed has Isaiah Nell in the backfield with him. He takes a snap. He gives it to Nell. Nell with a little bit of a quick move there. He's out across the 45, now across the 50. Spins his way into Flash's territory. He'll be marked down at the plus 49-yard line. Isaiah Nell, not a big character, but he is quick.
When if I understand your notes correctly, he ran 13 times for 169 yards, which is quite a day, averaging over, I think that's exactly 13 yards a carry, if my math is correct.
I was an English teacher. I'm not going to try to do that math off the top of my head. 8:32 to play in the 1st quarter. We dealt with a weather delay this evening, So we're just getting started. Here's the snap. Quick throw to the outside is caught at midfield. He's across the 45 and now the 40. Sprinting to the opposite side of the field on a diagonal. He'll get all the way down to the 25-yard line. That was Anthony Clier Enos, who was also one of the popular targets last week on the handful of throws that Bryce Speed made. And he moved aggressively towards the middle of the field, picks up 25 on the play. It'll be a first down for the Wolverines. We'll be right at 8 minutes to play in the first quarter when they get settled. Three wide receivers out to the left, one to the right, single back shotgun formation. Speed is surveying the defense, takes the snap, he hands it off to Nell, who goes right up the middle. He'll pick up a couple on first down. In the end, they're going to give him credit for 5 yards. It'll be second down and 5.
On the screen on the second play previous, that was the same play that they ran with a holding penalty the first time that got nice yardage then in spite of the penalty. That was either extraordinarily well blocked or extraordinarily poorly covered to go for 25. It's not often that you'll see a guy run through the heart of the defense, certainly for that much. Usually he'll take that screen up the sideline, maybe break a tackle or two and get 10 or 12 if they're lucky.
7:16 to play. The hands off to Nell. Nell goes around the left side, shakes and bakes his way inside the 15, dances his way across the 10, now to the 5 and into the end zone for a score. Touchdown Wolverines. That was too easy.
That was too easy, and the Flashes made it easy. I counted at least 5 missed tackles by the Flashes, including the cornerback who came up to set the edge after the defensive end failed to set the edge. And it's a wet field that certainly has something to do with it, but we're not going to be very successful on defense with that kind of tackling.
We've got nice accommodations up here in the Windermere High School press box. We're actually off the Windermere High School campus at a park just down the road. Got a chance to see the campus before making my way over here. Very nice school. Oh, a botch snap is going to be picked up by Ray Evans. They're going to whistle this one dead. The extra point is going to be no good. The Flashes are able to, well, keep this to a 6-point lead.
I was unaware in high school football that you couldn't return that. I know in college and pros you could return a muffed kick for 2 points going the other way, and that was blown dead pretty quickly.
It was, and Ray had, it was one of those momentum plays, almost like you jump a route on a screen, and there's just no way for everybody who's flat-footed to turn and go back and pick you up. Ray is already one of the faster guys on this field. He was gone, but they whistled that one dead, so it'll stay 6-0. Flash's offense is going to look to get something going here. 6:56 to play in the first quarter. The Windermere Wolverines lead 6-0.
Couple things that stand out, Todd. I would say Windermere has probably 50% more players than the Flashes, almost twice as many. They've also probably got double the cheerleaders as well as maybe triple. There's a lot of students in this school.
There are indeed. We actually noted, I think there are more cheerleaders than there are football players. Everybody's doing a great job out there. I know they've all been dealing with the weather tonight. Nobody quite knew if we were going to be able to play. Long kickoff here. It's actually Jeremiah Kess who was the deep man. That one is going to go out of the back of the end zone, which is impressive for a high school kicker. So Flashes will start at their own 20-yard line for the second drive of the evening. They're down 6-0. Flash's offense really tried to run the ball in the first drive. One rollout at the end, but that almost looked like a design run the way it ended up playing itself out. Flashes will hope to move the ball a little more efficiently here in this second drive. Jeremiah Kess is split out wide to the right. Two receivers are out to the left. I believe that is Glisson and Ely. Ott takes the snap, hands this one off. Back is going to try to power his way up the middle. He'll pick up a yard, maybe 2.
And we're seeing a similar defensive look as we saw against Oak Hall, which made for a long night for the Flash's offense last Friday. 8 guys, in the box, blitzing linebackers. They're gonna make the Flashes make plays downfield, which the Flashes haven't shown yet that they're able to do in the short season.
Jack Fox was the running back there, and it appears he is going to be the running back again on this play. Same formation. Ott takes the snap, rolls left, and he's going to run it. He's out across the 25 and now the 30, and he's going to have enough for a first down. They'll mark him down right at the 31-yard line, and that'll move the sticks.
And we haven't seen that play yet in the young season from the Flashes. Decisive running and good blocking for the Flashes. I like it.
There is a timeout on the field. Quick water break. We'll take our first timeout of the evening as well. It is the Wolverines 6, the Flashes 0. We'll be right back. .6:11 to play in the first quarter. The Flashes out of the timeout have a 4 wide receiver set. Ray Evans is the lone back. Cody Ott is in a shotgun. He brings Jack Fox in motion. Fox goes under center, takes the snap, powers it forward. He'll pick up 4, maybe 5 on the play. Good running up the middle.
And twice consecutively now we've seen some success running up the middle against a pretty stacked defensive front. Not an especially huge defensive front. I'm seeing one guy, I think 280, Raphael Zankope, a 280-pound, 6'4 junior. Couple guys in the 200 range, but not the size as some teams that we'll see this year.
It's a true story. I'll be curious to see if they can incorporate a little play action here with these tight linebackers. Maybe get something over the top. High snap, handoff, a double handoff. The pitch to the outside by Kess to Evans. They tried to spread the defense out. In the end, they'll gain 1, maybe 2 yards. Neat little gadget play there with a double pitch.
Good pursuit by the Wolverines defense. One more block from the Flashes offense there, and we might have had a really big play.
It was a neat design. They kind of ran it almost like a reverse, but then the reverse man actually pitched it to the outside, and it was well covered, so not a lot doing. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 5. Same formation for the Flashes. 2 wide receivers to either side. Fox in motion again, comes under center, takes the snap, pitches this one out to Ray Evans. Evans puts his foot in the ground, cuts it back. He'll get enough for a first down, a 7-yard run.
Todd, I would really like to see Evans make the defense pay for their aggressiveness. When it's kind of comical that the linebackers are sneaking up to the line as if that's out of character for them. When you do it every time, you might as well just start there because you're not surprising anybody when you do that. But then you get linebackers that can get trapped up in the jet wash that happens in between the tackles, and so that means you're reliant purely on your secondary to stop a big play from happening when it breaks outside.
I mean, they're tight enough where a play action and a slant, they might be behind them. Fox goes in motion, comes back under center, fumbles the snap, though. It's on the ground. I think the Flashes have recovered, but a first down and 10 from their own 44, I think, is about to turn into a 2nd down and long.
And that was Clayton Kennedy recovering the snap. Hard to see what happened there.
There was a delay there once Fox got under center. I almost thought that it was like a Statue of Liberty play because the snap seemed to come back, and then all of a sudden the ball popped out.
Is Clayton Kennedy the starting center tonight after the injury last week?
So I talked to Matei a few times this week. He said it was just a sprain. He was interested in playing. Looking out there,
I think he's out there.
It appears that he, in fact, is. Well, I can tell you this: Clay is not the center right now, but I can't identify specifically if that's him.
If I'm not mistaken, I see number 50, Matt Matei, out there.
then there you go. 3:09 to play in the first quarter. Still 6-0 in favor of the Wolverines, but the Flashes trying to put a drive together here. They picked up a first down and are now dealing after a fumble and now a timeout with a second down and long. The way they have it marked, it's going to be second down and 15. Referees did a nice job getting everybody going tonight. We dealt with a long weather delay. It was interesting. The Windermere Wolverines actually stayed at school, which is about a mile away from here, until the warm up period began. And then they shuttled over here in buses, which are the buses I believe you saw pulling out as you pulled in. The Flashes had been here since quite a while ago, but had a nice locker room facility here. Ott takes the snap. He's under a little bit of pressure, bobbled that snap. He's going to be taken down in the backfield. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, so there's no sack on the play, but the timing was pretty well thrown off there because that snap jumped out of his hands.
Yeah, and so now you've had maybe we got back to the line of scrimmage there, but when you lose 5 yards due to potentially a snap issue on the first down, and that throws off what you want to accomplish on second and third, and so now the Flashes are in a position where the defense that's been coming after us on both drives so far is more or less going to be able to tee off, and we haven't shown a threat of a downfield passing game yet.
Yeah, the Flashes are definitely an offense that wants to stay on schedule. Ott's going to put this one up in the air. He's got a man. Evans makes the catch, but he's going to be just out of bounds. He caught it at the plus 40-yard line, but that right foot came down on the white. Well thrown football right to the boundary, but unfortunately Evans was just kind of gliding out of bounds as he made the catch.
And it was good defensive coverage by the Wolverines. That ball was perfectly threaded in between two defenders. If Cody puts it a couple yards towards the field, then you might have an opportunity for an interception. So it was really the only guy that we could get it. Good job by the offensive line with pass protection. It wasn't a long running play, but he had enough time to get the throw off.
Yeah, it's definitely not the 7-step drop of the 90s that we got used to. High snap on the punt, and Hemelt gets off a little bit of a side-footed clunker here that is going to come down at their own 45-yard line.
Little bit of gamesmanship there by the Flashes. Once again, I was waiting for that Wolverine to get a little too close, and the closest Wolverine I think was pushed from behind towards the direction of the ball. Maybe some wishful thinking by a Flash who was hoping to cause something there. Once again, it was not a pretty punt, but the snap seems to be a little off. We saw it 3 times on that drive. Um, just not that normal rhythm that you're accustomed to seeing from center to quarterback or center to punter.
No, and unfortunately, it leads to a first down for the Wolverines. Speed fires this one out. It's a screen to Nell, and Nell with some boogie out across the 30. Now the 20 splits the defense at the 10. High steps his way into the end zone, dragging a Titler along with him. Jack tried to bring him down inside the 5, but couldn't stop him. It's a touchdown for the Wolverines.
And clearly that's a receiver with some athleticism. That's the 3rd time now they've gone to the screen. And the key to stop it is you got to tighten up on the line. If he can get 10 yards deep with his playmaking skills, then it gets a lot harder to tackle him in open speed. We really got to tighten up on a play that we've now seen 3 times, and it's been successful all 3 times with a penalty slowing down the first one.
Lucas Glassburn lines up for the extra point. It's 12-0 Wolverines. On the first point after attempt, a bad snap led to a miss. This snap is good. It's caught. The kick is solid. Up and through the uprights. 13-0 in favor of the Wolverines. We'll take 30 seconds and bring you the kickoff when we return.
It's a brand new public school.
Welcome back to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9. The Flashes find themselves in a 13-0 hole with 1:53 to play in the first quarter. For those of you that are just tuning in as we approach the 8 o'clock hour, this game was in a 30-minute weather delay, compliments of some pretty heavy storms that rolled through the Orlando and subsequently here into Windermere, Florida. The Flashes now find themselves caught up in a storm, struggling on the defensive side to stop this Wolverines rushing attack. A screen just went quite a number of yards for a touchdown. Jeremiah Kess is going to try to give them some yards back. He's across the 15, now the 20, gets out to the 23-yard line, which is where the Flashes will take back over. Couple of offensive drives. They've tried to run the ball. There's been a throw or two, but aside from one first down, the Flashes have really moved backwards more than they've moved forward.
And with the last drive in particular, we had some good things going, a couple nice runs up the middle, and then the snap started to get away. So we'll pay attention and see if we can get that under control and move the ball. See if we can get the ball across midfield as the first quarter's ending. We haven't really sniffed it yet.
1:44 to play in that first quarter. Lots of interesting sights and sounds out here. You got a band and a looks like a flag guard. That's I'm not getting the name correct, but there is a
Color
there's some
guard,
dancers. We saw the color guard earlier during the pregame.
the
Uh,
flag corps.
Flag Corps. So there's a large collection of students that are all carrying flags. I think they're going to go out there and toss them up in the air and do some cool stuff. After a long day, I'm losing the phrase that I need to identify that crew. Hopefully, the home announcers can help us out at halftime as we get going. 1:10 to play in the first quarter. Flashes have it second down and 10 from their own 23-yard line. Ott takes the snap, rolls right, looks right, throws this one to Evans, who catches it at the 25. He takes a step backwards and then spins his way forward. Looks like they're going to mark it at the 24. It'll be third down and a long 9.
I like the play design. It looked like I think Evans had started off in the backfield, and so that was some version of a running back screen. Cody continued to drift deeper, and essentially the line let the defenders come in on them. Now, what the offensive line is supposed to do is kind of fake a block for a second or two and then release and block 5 yards downfield so that Evans has a fleet of guys in front of him. I didn't see the downfield blocking, although the pass was open to Evans.
All right, we're inside 15 seconds to play in the first quarter. The Flashes adjusting the formation. They've got twins to either side and only 7 seconds to get the snap off. Glisson goes in motion. We're inside 3 seconds now. And the snap goes up and over Cody's head. He's going to try to pick it up and run it, but in the end, he has to fall on it. That one will go all the way back to the 10-yard line. A 13-yard loss to end the first quarter. The Flashes are down 13-0. We'll talk about it when we return. All right, let's rumble. Welcome back to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9. We're getting ready to start the second quarter here from Windermere, Florida, as the St. Joseph Academy Flashes take on the Windermere Wolverines of I was going to say Wolverine High School, but Windermere High School. We're actually at a park just down the road from the high school itself. It's a neat little park. We were talking in the break. Unfortunately, due to some civic challenges when they first built the school, they weren't able to build the game facility on campus. So we're about a mile away from that campus. Hemelt lets off his best punt of the evening, which he needed. That one is going to get across the 50-yard line and go out of bounds at the 45 on the other side of the field. He actually punted that from the goal line. By far the best punt we've seen out of Adrian all year. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was 45 net, no return. And I guess what Adrian was trying to do was sucker the returns in with a couple of short ones early so that he could boom one over and I'd say flip the field, but they've still got pretty good field position at the 45.
They do, but given where they were punting that ball from, that was a win for sure. Hemelt does a nice job for his team. The Flashes now with 11:48 to play in the first half. They're down 13 to nothing, and on defense, they're looking to get a stop. 3 wide receivers in the formation. Bryce Speed is the quarterback. Isaiah Snell is the running back who's been causing some issues. Speed rolls out to the right, puts his foot in the ground, fires. He's got a man at the 40-yard line who carries a defender. That was Ray Evans down to the 35. Anthony Clyer Enos with his second catch of the night.
And Bryce Speed kind of could pick his poison there. He made a nice throw down the sideline, picked up, looks like about 20 yards or so. The receiver that went up the right sideline, the cornerback rightly let him go to the middle where the free safety would pick him up, except the free safety didn't pick him up. So we had a guy running, looked like the first play of the Florida-Utah game yesterday, running free deep in the middle of the field. If Speed would have saw him, he would have had a touchdown.
I don't think either of us want to talk about that game yesterday. That was rough. 4 wide receivers split out wide to the left, 1 to the right, which means somebody now coming in motion takes the flip. That was Nell. The ball is loose at the 40-yard line. I think Nell was able to jump back down on top of it. I don't think he was ready for that one. He came in motion. It wasn't a jet sweep, so to speak, but close to it. That quick toss, though, bounced off his hip, went to the ground. He was fortunate to recover it.
You could make a case that was an incomplete pass. I'm a little surprised that they're marking it down. Looks like they might be correcting it now because that ball went forward in the air about a yard before it was muffed. So that properly should be an incomplete pass, and that is the call.
And they are moving it back to the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 2nd down and 10. The ball is set at the Flash's 35-yard line. Windermere moving from left to right on your radio dial. Kind of look like the Seattle Seahawks right now in these navy blue uniforms with some gray numbers and neon green accoutrements. Nell drives his way forward. He'll pick up a couple on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
And that was probably the best defensive play by the Flashes. We had 3 ball carriers to stop the run for a 3-yard gain. A 3-yard gain is one of the best offensive plays for the Flashes, which kind of tells the tale of how this game is going so far.
3rd down and 6 is how they have it marked. 10 minutes to play in the first half. The Wolverines lead 13 to nothing. Bryce Speed has been effective. He rolls left. He's under a little bit of pressure. Tries to look right. Jack Fox in pursuit. He is going to be tackled. That is a sack for the Flashes. It looks like that was Mr. Glisson, Asher Glisson, with the sack on the far side of the field. It'll be 4th down and 10 for the Wolverines. Nice job by the Flashes defense.
Asher, a freshman, we've called his name out a few times over the first few weeks, getting extensive playing time on both sides of the ball, caught a few passes, including a touchdown on the preseason game, but he's going to be a Flash to watch for the next several years.
4th down and 10. It looks like the Wolverines are going to go for it. They've got a safety deep. Here's the snap. It's a screen to the outside. Nell is going to try to cut this one all the way back across the field. Not only is he going to get the first down, he's going to pick up a whole bunch more. He gets taken down at the 11-yard line. 1st down, Wolverines.
They were kind of in no man's land there. From the 35-yard line, a punt, if it's downed inside the 20, will get you a few yards, but if it goes into the end zone, it only nets you 15. A field goal, 52 yards for a high school kicker is a long way. So it makes sense to go for it, 4th and 10. And why not with the screen that's now 4 for 4 that the Flashes haven't even come close to slowing down. They haven't stopped it for anything less than a 1st down, not counting the penalty.
No, and that screen there, I mean, this honestly has been Bryce Speed and Isaiah Nell. I mean, they are the offense right now, but it is a good one. Speed and Nell are in the backfield. Speed hands it to Nell, who goes up the middle, dances his way out of a tackle at the 13, now goes around the left edge, and he's going to be marked out of bounds at the 6-yard line.
And there's no reason why two flashes who had backfield penetration shouldn't have had him dropped for a yard or two loss. It was certainly some shifty running. Got to do better defensively though, and wrap it up.
They do indeed. 8 minutes to play in this first half. Still 13-0 in favor of the Wolverines. The Flash's defense needs to get a stop here. Hopefully they don't have two players wearing the number 3 on the defense at the same time. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. Here's the snap. It's a nice job by the Flash's defense. Penetration up the middle. Looks like that was Brody Ely takes down the back. That was not Isaiah Nell. That was actually Henry Rogers on the carry. And he's going to get taken down for a loss. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
And that was only 2nd down, Todd, so a little bit early for two players wearing the same jersey.
True, that was rough. I'm not even ready to talk about it. Here's the snap, and that is going to be Rogers again. Rogers goes untouched into the end zone, an 8-yard scamper. 19 points now on the board for the Wolverines, right up the middle of that defense.
And that was just hard downhill running. We didn't have a flash in a position to make a play. Well blocked, well executed. And the Wolverines are up big now, midway through the second quarter.
Flashes are down a defensive tackle tonight, and they are feeling that loss right up the middle. Lining up for the extra point. Lucas Glassburn has been effective when he's gotten his foot on the ball, but there is a penalty marker down on the field.
Looks like 12 on the field.
Too many men on the field. Number 77 comes off the field. That was a very good year, I might offer. 1977, a good year indeed.
What made that a good year for you?
Well, I came into this world.
Oh, okay.
I came into this world in 1977, which makes that a pretty good year for me.
I had you a few years older. I had you at 2 years old in 77.
Here is the snap, the hold, the kick. It's got plenty of distance, and it is through the uprights. 20 points on the board now for the Wolverines. It's 20-0. 7:05 to play in the first half. You know, one of the things that I was talking to our producers with WSOS 103.9 on the drive down. Rain was it was coming down in sheets. There was lightning in the area. We knew we were likely going to be dealing with a delay. We didn't know what kind of conditions we were going to have to actually broadcast from. And my mindset was, if I'm driving all this way, I'm doing a broadcast. Well, I know for these guys, if you drive all this way, you're playing a game. You want to put a little better performance out after that long drive. The Flashes have an opportunity to turn things around right now with this drive. Ray Evans is standing at his own 5-yard line to try to give these guys a little bit of a spark. I sure hope he can offer one. Lucas Glassburn puts the ball on the tee at his own 40-yard line. If you're watching this on the Flash's digital network, you can see this kickoff because Nora is showing it to you with her awesome camera work. This kick is going to go into the end zone. It'll roll out of the back of the end zone for a touchback.
We talked about the decision to go for it on 4th and 10, which turned out to be a good decision, especially with the play call a few plays ago, and how you don't have many kickers who could kick a 52-yard field goal. Looks like they might have one. He's got a pretty big foot on him.
He does indeed. And that's his second touchback of the night. Both of his extra points that he actually got a foot on went all the way back to the track. And the track has got to be a good 15, if not 20 yards beyond the upright. So he's got some leg. And that was after a penalty pushed them back 5 yards. So he had plenty. Cody Ott leads the Flashes back out onto the field. They're at their own 20-yard line. There's penetration in the backfield. Evans spins away from it, really fights his way forward. He'll end up picking up a yard, maybe 2 yards on the play. But there was penetration in the backfield. That one was busted from the start.
And that's pretty much been the story of the first couple games so far. There's penetration in the backfield. Last week, Evans was getting hit as soon as he touched the ball, even on a toss sweep 5 yards back. They've gone away from that toss sweep and they're doing more handoff actions, maybe to get Evans an earlier touch and running downhill with an aggressive defensive front.
4 wide receivers in the formation. Everybody's relatively tight to the end of the line. Nobody's beyond the hash marks. The ball is in the middle of the field. Quick pitch to the outside to Kess is going to go down on the ground. Kess does a really nice job picking that up and racing it forward. They'll end up losing maybe 2 yards on the play, but that could have been disastrous with the ball on the ground inside the 15-yard line.
I like the play call. We've shown Evans to the inside, we've shown Evans to the outside, and then to show that movement to the offensive left and send Kess the other way. I think we had a chance at something there. Just couldn't execute it.
5:50 to play now in the first half. The Wolverines lead the Flashes 20-0. They break the huddle. They're on the right hash mark here. 2 wide receivers to the wide side of the field, and now they've got 2 to the short side of the field as well. Flashes moving from right to left on your radio dial. Ott drops back. He's going to throw this one. It is just over the outstretched arms of Brody Ely and incomplete. That'll bring up a 4th down and 12 from inside their own 20-yard line. I think we're going to have another Adrian Hemelt punt.
And I'm not sure, that pass would have been for about 6 yards on a 4th and 13. There was a defender in the vicinity. Brody has his back to the defender, so I'm not sure that we're getting enough to even make it interesting, even if we do complete it.
No, I don't think so either, but you'd like to see the connection, try to build on that as we head into the next drive. It's a low snap. Hemelt does a nice job, gets away a good kick. That one's going to be caught by Sean Fallapore at the 50-yard line. Stiff arms a man at the 45. Breaks a tackle at the 40. Spins away from another one. The crowd loves it, but a flag comes out late in the play.
It was a nice play, even from the catch. It was several yards over his head, ran back and did an over-the-shoulder, almost Willie Mays style catch. And the stiff arm wasn't quite Derrick Henry-like, but it was effective in shedding a tackler.
Adrian Hemelt, the punter, was chatting with the official after the call. We don't have the official call yet, and actually, the Wolverines haven't sent either of their offense or their defense out on the field. We're right at the 5-minute mark, so they may have called a water break, which now they have. So we'll sort this out when we return. It looks like it was an illegal block in the back is going to be called on the Wolverines. They will retain possession of the football, but the return, which got them all the way down to the 35-yard line of the Flashes, is now going to be moved back. They've spotted it at the 48-yard line. It is the plus 48, but it certainly takes them out of what Tom Coughlin used to call the money zone inside the 30, better than the red zone inside the 20. That inside that 35, he felt like you could get points from there.
The Gators call it the false start zone.
I've got 2 questions to ask. If there's no offensive coordinator, who do you yell at for the offense not looking ready to play? And if there's no special teams coordinator, who do you discuss their inability to get lined up with the correct numbers? Because it all goes back to the head coach. You can't put it on the graduate assistant that you've got in charge or a quality control coach. Nell is a quality running back. He has danced his way outside. He gets spun around by Ray Evans. A flag is sitting at about the 44-yard line, so I think this one might come back.
Yeah, the flag was well before the tackle. Evans certainly had his way with the runner at the very end of it, so he got to let out a little bit of frustration and watch the ball go march back the other direction.
Nell is not a small back. He's 5'9", 170 pounds. He looks a little on the smaller side, standing next to a handful of his offensive linemen. But he's got a little bit of meat to him. And Evans, who arguably 5'8", 165, very similar sized cat, he got the better of him there. It'll be first down and about 16 for the Wolverines. 4:45 to play in the first half. Wolverines lead the Flashes 20-0. There's some good football being played here in Central Florida. Here is the snap, the handoff right up the middle. Look at Rogers go. He's across the 30. He's going to be taken down by the safety, Patrick Fields, after a long gain. Brian, I'm not sure he was touched for the first 25 yards of that run.
No, that was as big a hole as you will ever see at the point of attack there. And it was well, I take it back. The touchdown run that he ran for was about as big a hole right there. We're having some struggles on the interior of the defensive line.
This handoff goes to Rogers as well. He goes around the right side, off the right guard, and then it is a foot race to the end zone. He dodged a couple of tacklers, but I'm not sure it was even a full-on juke. There he goes into the end zone for another score. 26 unanswered points on the board, soon to be 27 with the quality of this kicker.
We're also having some struggles on the left side of the defensive line and in the backfield.
You know, I'm such a big fan of this particular group of young men out there on the field for the Flashes. There's some really high quality young people out there. I know they're frustrated right now. I think this is going to be a really good early season opportunity to kind of reset, check themselves, and fight back. They're down 27-0 with 4:08 to play. They're going to take a few seconds to get ready for the kickoff. We'll take 30 seconds as well. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The Flashes have just given up a touchdown. They are down 27-0 to the Windermere Wolverines with 4 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the first half. Flashes don't appear frustrated. They're not playing or interacting with each other as if they are losing their composure or are frustrated, but it has to be a little frustrating to have started the season so well and to now be dealing with two one-sided games as we've experienced last week and now in the first half of this week. So here's a chance for the head coach. His name is Cash Forbrich. This is a chance for him to try to get his team composed and bring them back. Ray Evans makes a nice move at the 10. He'll get all the way out to the 20-yard line after another big kick by Lucas Glassburn. So the Flashes will start at the 20. Time to get something going.
You know, we said it, and I know Coach Cash said it to the players. You have to be careful about making too much out of that preseason win. It was great. Now you got to move on. And you know, the Flashes have been overmatched 2 weeks in a row. And we shouldn't make too much of that either, as we said last week. We are looking forward to an opponent where we're more evenly matched. We haven't found that opponent yet in 3 games.
The Flashes now 4 wide receivers in the formation. They send Glisson in motion. He is going to be the recipient of a quick pass, puts his foot in the ground and cuts it back. He'll pick up 3 or 4 on the play. Good to see him getting the ball again. He's got some skills, some quick feet, very confident catch there, and they'll pick up 3 on the play.
And with a sophomore quarterback and a freshman receiver there, that's a connection that we could look forward to for the next couple years.
3:35 to play now in the first half. Flashes, black pants, white jerseys. Send 4 wide receivers out into the formation. Shotgun. Ray Evans behind him. Cody Ott looks left. He's under pressure. He has to step up. runs this one around the right side. He's hit hard. He'll pick up maybe a yard on the play. They're going to wind the clock. It looks like he went out of bounds, but they're going to mark him down. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
And it's 27-0. It's not out of the realm of possibility that the Flashes could come back and win this, but let's be honest, we haven't really seen anything that indicates on either side of the ball that's likely to
The
happen.
Jaguars came back against the Chargers in the playoffs last year, down a very similar score, so it can be done. And I've seen it happen.
I'll give you odds.
I'm sorry?
I'll give you odds.
That the Jaguars will do it again? A
Put your
playoff
money,
win?
put your money
back?
where your mouth is, Todd.
I support my Flashes. I believe they will come back. Ott under pressure. He is going to be sacked back at the 15-yard line. The comeback is going to have to start with a 4th down and 17.
Ott is hobbling a little bit, was clearly frustrated, and it's hard to say. It looks like the running's getting a little bit cleaner as he heads off the field. It's hard to say if that was a frustration hobble or if that was a hurt hobble. Looks like he's fine on the sideline. Where I was going with that, Todd, though, is that, as a coach, you go into halftime, and hopefully it's only 27-0, but whatever the score is, you say, forget the scoreboard. Let's just go out and let's win this play. Let's see if we can get a first down. Let's see if we can get a stop.
Hemelt gets a punt off under duress. It'll take a big hop at the 30, but now takes a Wolverines bounce back to the 25. That ball took 2 solid hops in one spot and then checked up like a Titleist Pro V1 and is actually going to be spotted at the 25. So almost 5 yards given back on that little checkup. 1:32 to play in the first half. 27 points on the board for the Wolverines. They're going to try to get at least 3 more on before the end of this half.
Well, I think they're going to try and get 7 more. And if I were them, I would try a screen to the left side, followed by a handoff up the middle on the right side. Those have been 2 very successful plays for the Wolverines on multiple occasions tonight.
Bryce Speed is the quarterback. Isaiah Nell has been devastating, and Henry Rogers of late has been the man in the backfield. But it is Isaiah Nell back there with Bryce Speed right now. Speed is standing at the Flash's 30-yard line. He takes the snap, puts this one up in the air, overthrows his receiver. Arthur Smithwick was the intended receiver. He was well covered.
And even though it was Snell who had the 13 yard per carry average with 169 yards in last week's 41 to nothing shutout over Colonial, it really has been Rogers who's been the more downhill runner. Snell has been shifty, but Rogers has just been difficult to bring down right up the middle.
Nell is still the man in the backfield with Speed. Speed is going to put this one in the air again. Same play. This one's going to be intercepted by Patrick Fields. He returns it out across the 30, goes out of bounds. Actually, he crossed the 20, goes out of bounds at the 24. Big play for the Flashes. The defense steps up.
So happy to see the senior Patrick Fields out there in the lineup at safety and to make a play. I know that's got to be a big boon to him. He's been out here working through off-season workouts and has been a real leader on this team. So the Flashes needed a lift going into halftime, and Patrick Fields gave them one.
1:19 to play. The Flashes are going to get one more chance to put some points on the board. Now, they started the game with the football, which means that the Wolverines will open the second half on offense. Fields, after the interception, is now going to take over at quarterback as well. He stands in the shotgun. He takes the snap. He looks left, takes a deep drop. Now he's going to run it. He cuts it back up the middle, spins off of another tackler. He'll pick up 4 on the play. After the shotgun and the 7-step drop, he had a long way to run. Ends up with a nice gain, but the clock's going to continue to roll. We'll be inside 1 minute to play, but now this one is going to be whistle dead. There is an injured Wolverine down on the field and another one hobbling off.
The design of that play was interesting. With the initial 3 to 5 step drop, I thought we were going to see a downfield throw. Patrick has a pretty big downfield arm. He gave up on the downfield pass so early that it makes me think that it was a designed run to the left side. Um, Patrick is a Felipe Franks type runner, okay, with long legs, big stride, and can make up ground quick.
He also has a cannon for an arm, so hopefully we'll get a chance to see that. There is an injured player down on the field. We're going to give the Wolverines training staff a few minutes to attend to that player. With 1 minute to go in the first half, it's the Wolverines 27, the Flashes nothing. We'll be back in 30 seconds. What's that? The coaches and the athletic director, they get together and they talk and figure out who's available, who they're interested in playing, and then they work out a schedule. Are you saying right now you would have preferred they didn't schedule Windermere because of how good they are right now? It's all good. It's all good. Welcome back to Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9. The Flashes have the ball with just 49 seconds to play in the first half. Here is the snap. Fields is going to roll right. Looks down the field. He is under pressure, throws this one. That's going to be incomplete. 36 seconds are going to be on the clock after the incompletion.
And it's hard to say there. I think that was a design pass. Fields was rolling to the right, looking downfield, kind of cheated up a couple yards like he was going to run, and then just threw it to I'm not sure who.
Yeah, he was under a lot of pressure. Look, this Windermere team is really, really talented. We were actually having a conversation in the break there, just kind of talking about the schedule. This is the kind of team. They are very talented. I love getting a chance to play this kind of opponent, but it is a challenge. Fields puts up a long throw. That one is going to be incomplete at the 40-yard line, intended for Jeremiah Kess. But early in the season, the Flashes have put two very good teams on the docket, and they are a challenge. But I love the challenge. I think they're going to grow from it.
Well, one thing that you can say about the Flashes is that in a very rough 6 quarters of football, they haven't come close to quitting. They're out there still fighting every play, even when it's been an uphill battle. I like that about the character of this team.
So there's 32.8 seconds to go in the first half. The Flashes are going to be facing a 4th down and 6. They're going to call timeout and talk about it. Fields put up a really pretty football. I think a throw like we just saw uh, bodes well for the Flashes if they can get some protection, make sure they've got all their routes set up properly, and he gets it in the air. He's got the arm to bring them back.
Well, there's I've always told my players as a coach, there's a benefit to a deep miss because you send a message if it's a safe miss that you have to defend the entire field, that we're willing to throw the deep ball. So when teams start to stack the box, when they start last week we saw press coverage from 3 of the 4 DBs on the spread receivers. You throw it deep a couple times, that softens things up a little bit.
4th down and 5. 4 wide receivers and a back along with Fields. Fox goes in motion, goes under center. He is going to take the snap. He pitches it to Evans. Evans tries to flip it to Jeremiah Kess. The flip did not work. The ball is picked up by the Wolverines. It'll be returned to the 10-yard line. Now with 23 seconds to go, the Wolverines will have another opportunity to put this one in the end zone before the end of the first half.
And you hate to give up points when you're in a position to kick it away. But again, at 27 nothing, when everyone in the stadium except for Todd, the Jag fan, thinks that the conclusion is pretty well foregone, why not? Why not see if you can give your team a spark, get the ball into one of the hands of your playmaker. Obviously, the execution wasn't there, but it is early in the season, and we're still building chemistry between a young Flash team.
Another creative play for this offense. Unfortunately, it does not find success. Speed takes the snap, fires this one. It is tipped and nearly intercepted. A little tug of war for the football. It falls incomplete. The Flash is somewhere in between avoid disaster with a tipped ball that goes for a touchdown and nearly something very exciting with an interception.
Davey Murphy was the intended receiver there, and there was a fight. But Davey was, I thought he had the ball in his hands, but Ray Evans stuck with it and eventually knocked that ball out. Really good defensive play by Evans.
Now, if you have joint possession of a football in the end zone, what's the ruling there? If that exact play had happened in the end zone and there's a 3-4 second tussle for the football, I'd be curious to see how that would get ruled. Bryce Speed drops back to pass. He rolls right under some pressure. He takes off and runs, fires this one. Jack Titler with a heads up play comes over from the safety position, knocks that one away. Incomplete. 7.5 seconds to go. Third down and goal. That was nice.
That was a really a well played down by the entire back seven, because Speed was rolling out and he was scanning the end zone looking for somebody, and the best he could find was a receiver who was pretty well covered by Titler, enough so that Titler had the better play on the ball. 7.5 seconds left, and the Flashes have an opportunity at least for a morale building stop here.
Here is the snap. Speed drops back. He's under pressure. Glisson's trying to get him. He is going to dance his way up the middle. He'll be taken down at the 9-yard line as the horn sounds. The Flash's defense steps up when it matters here at the end of the first half. They are down 27-0 to the Wolverines, but now they'll have an opportunity to go into the locker room, talk it over, and come back and see if they can have a Jaguars versus the Chargers in the playoffs like comeback. That's what I'll be rooting for. I'm not sure that we'll get that much excitement, but I'm going to remain optimistic. My name is Todd. My co host is Brian. This is Friday Night Lights on WSOS 103.9 and the Flash's Digital Network. We'll be back in approximately 17 minutes.